So, yeah, about 2 months ago, DrudgeReport.com and Infowars.com and WorldNetDaily.com and others began to quote top virologists and others and link to stories that said that aircraft flying into the United States from Western Africa and Central Africa posed a major threat of bringing Ebola into the United States. Now, it doesn't take rocket science to know that. People can carry it for 22 days now. It's spreading very quickly. It's killing 90+% of people that end up getting it. 50% if you get Western medical treatment right away. 55% or so. And that a lot of these people are also flying in from the Middle East and Africa, and that cases of people with Ebola were showing up in Saudi Arabia and other areas, that there was a good chance that the thousands of other than Mexicans, that's what it's called in the Border Patrol filings, being caught every month at different border sectors in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California, that there's a good chance Ebola would also pass the border. And Geraldo Rivera came out and attacked a bunch of people, who's been on the show. I like a lot of what Geraldo does over the years. He exposed government drug dealing, you name it. But he basically came out and said it's racist against Hispanics if you don't want total open borders and there's no Ebola threat, is what he said. He said it was fear-mongering. And then taking his cue, as I mentioned earlier in the week, all over international media, the Associated Press, CBS News, not just Infowars.com or DrudgeReport.com, but Paul Watson and Kurt Nimmo and myself all got singled out. We all got singled out that we were fear-mongering about that Ebola could be going airborne and that it could come across the border or flying on an airplane. Well, now the president says that it's a major crisis and spiraling out of control. I have the quotes. I read them last segment. In fact, I'll read you the headline again with the close quote. AFP, Ebola crisis spiraling out of control, close quote, warns President Obama. Okay? So I just want to state again that being right first is not a bad thing. Knowing what you're talking about is not evil. And obviously, having a wide open border when you've got already drug-resistant tuberculosis and drug-immune tuberculosis and all these other diseases pouring across the southern border. There's a reason people don't go to South America or Central America unless you go to the nicer areas of Chile. It's because you got to take a bunch of shots and a bunch of medicine, and you still get sick a lot when you go down there. I mean, they got stuff that'll curl your hair. And we have no known immunity to it up here. People are pretty tough down there. They've been living around it for thousands of years, the Mesoamericans. But this issue of, hey, we might not want to just merge with the third world, they now even let people into the U.S. that have leprosy, wet, as it's called, transferable, communicable leprosy. But there's all these forced vaccines and checkpoints and surveillance and Homeland Security raiding swap meets where people are selling knockoff NFL coasters and SWAT team raids of a guy that has a 23-year-old Range Rover that they don't think has proper emission controls on it. That's all going on with a backdrop of war with Russia, war in the Middle East, dollar devaluation, Ebola spreading, China threatening to invade the Philippines again. Just the whole world's blowing up. And it's being activated by the globalists at the top to play all our countries off against each other. It's a global destabilization program. And then meanwhile, Dick Durbin says amnesty bill will help contain Ebola. It makes it even easier for illegals to come here. It gives amnesty to basically anybody who can get here. Even if you're a felon, you promise not to be a felon again. It's the same bill the Republicans wrote up with the Democrats 4 times under Bush, because the elite want a North American Union. Because then that new system, that new bureaucracy can circumvent all the other state laws and federal. It's not even a federal government we're dealing with. It's a captured system by the offshore corporations who are exempt from the taxes. That's back in the news today. Yesterday, Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois said that a comprehensive amnesty bill would help Americans contain the Ebola epidemic when it simply opens the border up even more. That is so ridiculous. Here's one out of Reuters. Citing security threat, Obama expands U.S. role fighting Ebola. Again, but does nothing with the border that he ordered basically completely opened back in January of this year. He doesn't have to act executively. He already has acted. So when they have the newscaster saying Obama's getting in trouble with the open borders lobby because he didn't open the borders, he has opened the borders for all intents and purposes. Now, to make it even more rich, DHS official claims border more secure than ever, but truth is opposite of what Obama administration suggests. In true Orwellian fashion, the Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security claimed the border is more secure than ever, has been before. Speaking to a liberal think tank yesterday, Deputy Security Secretary Al Gerando Makerkos, I'm having trouble pronouncing that, suggested a dip in apprehensions of illegal immigrants youth last month because they've just ordered them to let them go, meant the Obama administration has greatly strengthened border security, a fantasy considering that anyone, including ISIS, would have no problem walking to America. What we have achieved is tremendous progress, he claimed. I mean, this is all a sickening, sickening joke. And again, I want to explain. Yes, the war on terror is a hoax because it's aimed at gun owners, returning veterans, vets, libertarians, Christians, pro-lifers. Our government, the illegitimate part of it, is arming ISIS. And the border's wide open. So when they tell you, hey, you live in a post-9/11 world, we've got to spy on everything you do, track everything you do, increase the numbers of federalized police. They created the crisis. They ship in the drugs and then have asset forfeiture seizure taking cash out of your wallet when no drugs are found. Well, because it's a war on drugs. They introduced the crises to re-engineer the society and the civilization, period. They are converting us from a free society to a tyranny. The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality. InfoWarsLife.com.